even what Islam teaches. As a matter of fact, jihad does not mean holy war. Jihad can be, it means struggle, or a struggle for the sake of Allah. I mean, now don't get me wrong, jihad can be a war, but that's only if, let's say, someone is trying to stop you from worshiping God. It's actually prohibited to wage war on people for the sake of racism, or race, nationality, worldly gains, or even revenge. So it's kind of funny to me how, and sad at the same time, how Muslims get blamed, or Islam gets blamed for a handful of Muslims doing something that they aren't supposed to, because they're not following the actual teachings of the Quran. It's almost like if a Catholic priest molests a little boy, and then I turn around and say, "Woo, them Catholics, man, them Catholics are crazy." Or, Timothy McVeigh, Oklahoma City bombings, doing it in the name of God. God told him to do it. Christianity wasn't blamed for that. Or even down to just, if you see an Indian guy getting, wrecking someone for drunk driving, and we automatically assume that all Indians are drunks. But you might hear of it, but it doesn't get hammered into your head the way that Islam does. And, I had to realize, why does Islam get picked on? So, eventually, long story short, because I said I'm not going to go into too much detail, even though I kind of already had, I went down to my local masjid, or a mosque, trying to buy a Quran. At that time I didn't know. I went ahead and I picked one up, started reading through it, and I'm not going to lie, I cried. I cried. It just seems like if it was speaking to me. And other than that, I did my shahada, which basically is bearing witness that there is no one or no God that deserves worship besides Allah, besides God, and we don't associate any other partners with Him, and that Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is His prophet, the last messenger. And other than that, everything after that I learned is just basically research, and not believing what the media tells you what Islam is, because it's not. And there are extremists, but every religion has their extremists. The only thing is always that when it happens with a Muslim, it gets hammered and repeated and repeated and repeated in your brain till people automatically assume what they think of Islam. But it's pretty ignorant if you haven't studied it yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to go out and buy a Quran. There's plenty of information online that will explain to you what Islam really teaches. Peace, treating people right. No, we don't demean our women. No, we don't treat them beneath us. They're actually treated equally. And I'm sure that the message in the comments are going to come flying towards me. I know there's things that I didn't touch on completely. For the most part, I'm just really saying is that I was into drugs, I was into smoking weed, I was into selling drugs, rapping. Yeah, I used to be a little rapper talking about hoes and girls and, being very promiscuous and fornicating left and right, and, just doing all the things that I shouldn't, and just getting too involved in what's going on in this world and not what's going to happen after. So for me, long story short, really long story short, I accepted Islam, and my life hasn't been better. Things have been great. I got a little daughter here. Daisha, come here. Just to kind of show you. This is my daughter. Look, say hi.
Hi.
Say assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
That's my daughter. And so if you hear the noise in the background, that's her. And you can see me looking around. If I'm not looking at a paper that I wrote, then that's that. But for the most part, I just wanted to make this somewhat of a quick video about why I reverted to Islam. If people have general questions and non-ignorant ones, go ahead and send me a message, leave a comment. But the hateful ones, depending on how hateful, may or may not leave it. It depends. But other than that, if you sat through this recording that I did on my webcam and my cheap camera, then thank you, shukran. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.